Hello, this is Simon, and today we're going to be modelling this witch's cauldron. So let's get started. So to begin with, let's just make a ball. I'm just going to make that in the y-axis, and 12 sides, 12 segments, that's fine. So I'm just going to press F3 to rest on the ground there. In fact, let's raise that up a little bit more just so we've got room for some legs. And then let's remove the top. Okay, so I want to change the shape of this a little bit. I want to make it sort of bulge at the bottom. So I use spline guide. So we've got modified, transform, spline guide, N for numeric, and let's have 5 curve points. We want it in the y-axis and we want it in the scale. We can grab these points now and just start to just manipulate the shape of our cauldron. Okay, something like that works. Next, let's just scale these top points up. Going to make sure that action center is on selection. Shift F8, I believe. I'm going to just scale those just to create our lip. Hit tab. Look at the sub-patch version. Textured wires so we can see what's going on. And I'm just going to tweak the scale on this row of points just to emphasize that lip a little bit more. So now we need to thicken this geometry, so I'm going to come to multiply, thicken. I'm just going to click and drag just so that looks about right. Okay, so far so good. So next thing I want to do is add a little bit of detail around the cauldron itself. Just going to extrude a band here. So if I just hit Shift F, that gives us smooth shift. I'm just going to just drag that out slightly. Okay, and then I want to harden these edges. Just they're blending in a bit too much at the minute. So if I select two polys in the same loop, Bandsaw Pro, set this to about 85%, maybe 80, enter, and then I want to mirror that as well. So it does the top and bottom of the band, and then we have something like that, just to break up the shape of the cauldron there. Okay, so next we're going to need some handles on this. So really simple, just going to make a toroid, something like that. Let's make it 24, 12, that'll do fine. And I'm just going to select that top row of 4 edge loops, copy that onto a new layer, and I want to thicken that. Just multiply, thicken, and that gives us like a kind of attachment for that, which looks okay. Let's see what that's like with sub-patch. Might want to just harden these edges here, so I'm just using my bandsaw again. It's Alt E I've got that as, but it's just down under multiply, subdivide. That looks okay. So let's pop that in position. Hit R to rotate. Just make sure that's centered. I'm just going to pop this in position now. Yeah, keep it quite large because it's kind of a cartoony look to this thing. Just have the handle resting on that lip there. Okay, that looks alright, so let's mirror that and make sure that merge point is off. And then I'm going to cut those and paste those into the main cauldron. Okay, So far so good. So next up we need some feet. So for this I'm going to start by just creating 1 foot with a simple plane. So I'm just going to center that. Let's select this. Let's just show our normals just to make sure that we're rotating in the right direction. What I want to do is just rotate that into position for where our legs are going to start. Something like that. Be fine. And now we're going to use a great tool, which is Magic Bevel. It's really good fun to use. So basically we can draw out whatever we want with this, and we've got the scaling here so we can affect how much it scales. We can come in and we can edit the path, so once it's drawn you can come in and change all these the direction and position of your path, or if you've got too many you can just come in and delete some, kind of edit that path, simplify it, whatever. So that's the principle we'll use. So just going to come back to the tool again, Magic Bevel, Reset Tool. So we're going to get the precision to be 25. The lower it is, I think, the more edge loops you have, the more detailed it is. So I'm just going to set that to about 25. You can create UVs for the sides should you need to. I'm not going to bother this time. So let's draw something out here. I'm just going to kind of get almost like a little swirl. You can see that first attempt doesn't look great, but by using the edit path we can kind of tidy this up. Actually want it to point down a little bit more first before it curls around. So just edit that until you're happy. Something like that looks better. You can play with the scale there if you want to have that kind of not scale at all, or just scale slightly. I'm just going to go for about 95, I think. You can even get that to spin as well, which is quite interesting. Okay, so I hit enter with that. Just hit tab. That's looking reasonable. So what I want to do, I'm just going to use my bandsaw again. We've still got our settings from previously, so it gives kind of a sharp edge to that. That looks alright. And then I might just want to do the same here, and that gives us kind of a flat edge. Let's just clear that. I might just do one there just to emphasise that corner. That'll do. That looks alright. So let's scale that down now just to work with what we've got. Just going to rest that on the ground. See what that looks like. It's not too bad. So I want to clone that, so I'm going to hit the C key. I want, these are my settings from previously, but so I want 2 clones because we've already got 1, and I want to offset them on the heading, so I'm just going to put 360 divided by 3, and that will give us 120 degrees, which is nice and evenly spaced. So that's looking alright. So now I'm just going to make some fluid. And as this is just for a render, I'm not going to worry about it being animated, so I'm just going to do something simple here. So I'm going to create a box, and I'm going to hit tab. That kind of turns it into a disc here, subpatch disc. So I'm just going to scale that in place, something like that, and then I'm going to start to subdivide that just to give us a bit of a grid. Let's do that a few times. That will do. Okay, so what I want now is I'm going to create some bubbles. So if I select a poly, just press B for bevel, and right click, I can start to bevel that in. Every time I right click and drag the button held down, it gives me a new edge loop. So B for bevel, right click, there we go. If you want a smaller bubble, just hit B, hold control, and you can scale that within that plane there without any insets. So scale it down, and then we'll go again to a really tiny one. And so on. Okay, so next I'm going to create a spoon or a stir or something. So for this, it's just going to be like a wooden handle. Create a box, extrude that down, put lots of segments there, so that's fine. Hit tab, it's going to select the top and hit E, and that gives us this nice kind of sharp edge. Then I'm going to rest that on the ground, and what I'm going to do is use spline guide again. So that's modify, transform, spline guide, N for numeric, 5 curve points on the Y, but this time we're going to use bend, and then we can use that to kind of just make this look a little bit more natural, a bit of wonk in it. Okay, and then maybe let's have one of these sticking out. So I'm just going to press E to extend, E again. Just going to move that out and then hit E again, and then that gives us our kind of fork or branch or whatever. Just going to scale that down a tad. Okay, and then maybe extend that up a little bit. Okay, so now let's just move that into position. Maybe scale that down just a touch. So there we go, nice simple witch's cauldron, kind of cartoon style, very quick to produce and nice and low poly, so if you need to make changes you can really just get stuck in there straight away. Okay, happy Halloween.